Hi, and welcome to the University of Pittsburgh Concur Anthony Travel online training. Now that we have reviewed the company notes, the Concur main landing page, I want to dive in really quickly to the profile. One of the first steps when a new user logs into Concur, they should review the profile information that we currently have. Some of this information was fed over by the HR feed provided by the university. However, there are some portions that require immediate attention to ensure that we have the correct information. So to get to your profile, you'll go to the far right corner, click on Profile, Profile Settings, and then Personal Information. Some of the information that we receive through the HR feed is going to be the name that the university has for the traveler, date of birth, and the gender. While we are confident we have the date of the birth and gender correct, we want to ensure that the name that we have on file when a traveler utilizes a governmental issued ID to check in to either a domestic or international flight, we need to ensure whatever ID that will be used that we have the name identically to that ID listed in Concur. If we have a different name, please contact Panther Express Customer Service. They will be able to assist in ensuring that we have the proper name and any corrections to be made. Below the name field, you'll find company information, work address, home address, basic information, but then you will get to contact information, which has two required boxes, both for your work phone and your home phone. Please note that while it does say required phone entries will be your home and work, best practice is that you put your cell phone in both of these areas. These numbers are transmitted through the record to the airlines and the other participating vendors that you've selected throughout your trip. So if there's an emergency, let's say your flight is canceled and you're in the middle of your trip, the last place you want either the airlines or Anthony Travel to contact you is at work or at home, which is why I recommend best practice is that you utilize your cell phone in both of these areas. Below this, you'll find an area to add additional email addresses. When doing so, you can click on Add an Email Address. You will see that mine is the Anthony Travel, however, yours will be the Pitt email address. Please do not change email number 1. You can add additional email addresses, maybe a personal one, a spouse or a loved one, to receive your itineraries. Your emergency contact information will be found there, and then below that is going to be your travel preferences. These are going to be your areas that you may want to note that you receive special discounts because you're part of another services for military or maybe AARP. And then below that's going to be your air travel preferences, which I tell everybody, if you're not going to listen to anything else within this demo, do listen to me on the seat selection. Mine currently says I prefer aisle. However, if I select I do not care, I'm going to regret that decision, and I will care because I will be placed in the middle seat. So if you do nothing else, just make sure you put your seat preference. If I forget to select my seat, the technology will go ahead and place me in the first applicable seat based upon my profile. So my profile says I prefer an aisle seat. So if I forget to select my seat, it'll go ahead and put me in the first applicable aisle seat. Also, if I'm booking a flight that's going to leave in a couple of days, likely the only seats available at this point are going to be those middle seats. So I have to go ahead and select the middle seat. But what the technology will do is keep looking for a better seat for me based upon my preference. So if somebody cancels or changes their seat, if an aisle seat opens up, the technology will go ahead and move me. Now, next to that, your seat select section, I will tell you this is much more difficult to obtain because most of the seats that are exit row and forward are preferred seats. And if I don't have status, I won't be able to select those seats or I will have to purchase those seats. So while I would love to be able to tell you that if you always want to sit in the exit row, we'll always put you there, that's not realistic. Special meals, preferred departure airport. Another great useful time-saving step is the fact that I know I always want to fly out of DFW. So by putting this here, every time I go into the search box, it always has DFW loaded for me. If there's any other air travel preferences or medical alerts, like maybe I need wheelchair assistance. I can put that information there. Hotel preferences and car preferences are pretty self-explanatory. And then frequent travel program information. So your Marriott rewards, Hilton honors, Perks Plus number, SWABIZ number, all that information can be added here so that each time I make a reservation and the appropriate vendor is selected, automatically my preferred membership number is added to that reservation. And I, as the individual traveler, get those points. So all I have to do is hit add a program and add. Now it will only allow you to add 5 at a time. However, if you come in here and hit save, you can come back in here and add an additional 5. Below that's going to be sections for unused tickets, which the technology will now keep a record of all your unused tickets that you have available. Unused tickets are going to be non-refundable tickets that have been canceled outside of the 24-hour void window. If I have an unused ticket and log into the system, it'll pop up a box and remind me that I have an unused ticket waiting to be used. TSA also requires that we provide the gender and the date of birth of the travelers along with that name as it appears on the governmental issued ID. This information did come from HR, and while your birthday is masked, please note it is listed. Then you have a place for your redress or TSA pre-check numbers. Please note your name must appear as it does for either one of these with the government, so your TSA or redress number. So whatever name they have, we also must have it match in Concur. If there is a discrepancy, please let us know. International travels for passports and visas. I can come in here and add both a passport and a visa. What I like about the passport is it'll alert me 6 months prior to expiration, which is handy, especially for those of us that do not travel internationally frequently. Travel and assistance and arrangers, we'll talk about that here in just a second. There's an additional place for you to add delegates in case those did not come over in the HR feed. And then your credit card. The university prefers that all travelers obtain a travel card. It is based upon the discretion of your department, though. So if you have a travel card already, it will be added automatically. If you want to add your personal card, let's say you're going to go through the reimbursement process, or you have a spouse that's going to travel with you and you want them to be able to book, or you want to be able to book on their behalf, but you're going to pay for it, you can also add a credit card in here. So for those that are delegates who can book on behalf of others, I will dive into the process, but do want to show where you will go into the profiled section. So again, we're in your travel profile, and you would come in here and select request delegates. When you request a delegate, you will come into this page, you will hit add and start typing somebody's name. Then you will add them. You will have the ability to give them specific rights to book travel on your behalf, to receive your emails, to be an approver if you need to for a short amount of time. All that will be done by delegates. Delegates do not have to have your password. Once you add them, they will then log into their own Concur through MyPit, and they will be able to book on your behalf. They will no longer need any login credentials. They won't need your credit card information or even need to know your trip library information. That will all be accessible once you add them and give them the proper access to your account as a delegate.